We need an active union that's strong and stands its ground. No secret deals and hotel meals will lead our union to rebound. And which side are you on? Which side are you on? Which side are you on now? Vote Union Action Strong.
Hi, I'm Terry Costello from the Union Strong Union Active team in the Victorian branch of the CWU. The Union Strong Union Active team is a trade union rank and file group. We are running in the Communication Workers Union Victorian branch elections that are taking place in June 2023. Since Joan Doyle retired in 2019, the Victorian branch of the CWU has experienced a quickening rate of decline of its membership over the last 4 years. Since April 2022, in a little over 12 months, the membership of the Victorian CWU has declined by 466 members, or over 10% of the membership, which has left the union since April 2022. This rate of decline is clearly unsustainable. The Union Strong Union Active team's campaign 5,000 policy aims to increase the membership of the Victorian branch of the CWU to 5,000 members by 2027. I asked CWU Industrial Officer Val Butler about the reasons for the accelerating decline in the union's membership over the last 4 years. Campaign 5,000, I guess union membership decline's not something peculiar to our union, but have the current set of officials actually tried to recruit? I noticed in the finance report last year that our actual union membership fees went backwards. What's Campaign 5,000 and how might this policy help actually increase union membership rather than it declining?
Okay, so you're quite right. Union membership decline in Australia is not unique to the CWU. The decline has probably been on the telco side, telecommunications side of the union. We had a lot of dramatic structural changes that affected us very, very rapidly. In post, it sort of seems to be more death of 1,000 cuts. So the decline has been steady and constant across all branches over a period of years. The Victorian branch always had the lowest level of decline. However, it was sort of still decline, and that decline has accelerated really dramatically in the last 4 years, and it's accelerated very dramatically in the last 2 years. What my concern is that the current officials don't seem to have any capacity to understand the underlying trends. I've charted this decline over a 20-year period. I've tried to raise this with them, bring it to their attention, and they seem more caught up on sort of like monthly data where they say, well, you know, only 40 people left the union, but we recruited 50. But the 50 that they've recruited tend to be more part-time. And so the people leaving, you've got to look at a union. If you want to look at it in business terms, it's a cash flow business. So if the 30 people who've resigned from the union for whatever reason, because not all of them are retirements or exits from Australia Post, in some instances they're leaving the union because they're unhappy. If those people are paying you fees of $600 a year and the 50 being recruited are paying fees of $200 a year because they're part-time, you're obviously going to see a fairly dramatic trend of revenue decline. There's also no coordinated effort to recruit. So the telecommunications side of the union has been largely ignored in the P&T branches over a long period. And now what we're seeing is there's this sudden interest in recruiting in telecommunications, because obviously we've now got this huge rate of attrition in post. and to be frank with you, I think they've sort of like, unless they're prepared to put very serious resources into recruiting across the board, they're not going to get anywhere. And also I've got concerns about the appeal of the union to potential members, and particularly to women and young women. So there's no coordinated effort.
Today we are discussing the Union Strong, Union Active Campaign 5000 policy that aims to increase the membership of the CWU Victorian branch to 5,000 members by 2027. CWU Industrial Officer Val Butler explains how the Victorian branch of the CWU can increase its membership to 5,000 members by 2027. She also explains the benefit of the union having a larger membership base.
And that's why we've come up with a really solid plan in regards to actually having a number, having a goal, Campaign 5000. So our membership at the moment sits at around 3,800 and declining. And so 1,200 new members over a 4-year period is a realistic goal. And there are structural ways in which we can achieve it. We have to really do something about modernising our IT systems and making it easy for people to instantly join. We also need to make it clear that unions are not charities. We're not funded by the boss. People have to understand that if they're joining the union they're joining purely because they've got an existing problem, then that needs to be really on a fee-for-service basis as well as the membership fee, because their alternative is to go to a lawyer, and even a junior lawyer is going to cost them $300 an hour. So, union membership fees are extremely cheap when when the value you get out of them. And obviously, union density is incredibly important. I mean, again, discussing it as a business model. If you don't have density, you don't have strength. If you don't have strength, you have nothing. It's the importance of strengthening up the areas that have industrial muscle is incredibly important. And you have to have a goal, and you have to pursue all areas where your eligibility rules give you coverage, and there are clearly in every facility in Australia Post, there are people who, for whatever reason, choose not to be members. So as part of Campaign 5000, there's a lot of unions who are now calling for the introduction of bargaining fees for enterprise agreements. In the US, if you are not a union member, if you don't sign on, then that agreement does not cover you. And we're unique, really, in the world that, people can free ride off the backs of union members. And people really need to think long and hard. Okay, do I want to go it alone, or do I want to be that person who doesn't make that small contribution in order to make sure that we're all strong?
Decisive action needs to be taken to halt the accelerating decline of the membership of the Victorian branch of the CWU. The continuing rate of decline threatens the long-term viability and existence of the Victorian branch of the CWU. Other state branches of the CWU that have experienced membership decline have been swallowed up by the central branch. If the accelerating rate of decline of the membership of the CWU Victorian branch continues, the Victorian branch is likely to suffer the same fate. Vote 1 Union Strong, Union Active to ensure that the Victorian branch remains a viable union that is independent from the ALP, the federal ALP government, the central branch and the divisional office. For more information about Union Strong, Union Active's Union Campaign 5000 policy, other policies and the election, log on to the web at unionactive.org. We are also on Facebook.